And hopefully with more displays, you'll be able to reach those people who are interested.
Could be. They first have to come to the planetarium, but of course we are doing more with social media. So we have a Facebook page or group or two, and they've got, I think, a couple of their younger staff members, meaning students or younger staff members, are trying to start or manage a Twitter account and Instagram account. So they're hoping to start to reach out to a different audience. And we do have this sky calendar we publish, and I think they're putting more information in there about things that are going on at the planetarium, not just, okay, here's observing charts for the next 3 months. So there's a newsletter they include, which talks about what's going on at the planetarium. So we have about, I think, about 4,000 subscribers to that worldwide. So we're doing what we can to generate interest is the answer, in a wide variety of places. We have a website, we have, like I say, Facebook page or two or group, Twitter account, Instagram account, which I think they're just starting. So they're really trying to reach people that we otherwise might not be reaching. And we work with the convention bureau. So if you're organizing something to come to capital cities and are working with the Lansing Convention and Visitors Bureau, they have information about things to do in the area, and that includes the planetarium, for example. So in that sense, we are working with local, regional, and state people about trying to make people aware that we have a planetarium, and that here's what we do at the planetarium. But it's the same thing the bug house goes through, or that the museum goes through. The museum has a couple of nationally recognized collections, so they have a little bit of an edge if that's your field of interest. Okay, some of the things the music school does sort of had that, and we have Broad, which brings in people, I think, regionally and nationally, especially when they have guest or traveling exhibits. So we're just trying to do the same thing, make people aware. And so we work with the Broad Museum too. So they're bringing in some performance art, and they're going to perform at the planetarium. We've already done that once before, but they've got somebody else coming, I think, in the next few months. And so they're going to do basically what I call performance art. They're going to do it in the planetarium. So that's another example of something that never would have been done before. But we just did the game night, as you know. We have the relax sessions, so there's 2 sessions a month, which is relax with music and relax under the stars. I think they're both actually with music, but one is recorded music and one is live music. That's sponsored by Health Team. So I mean, we just have a huge substantially greater number of programs now than we had 5 or 10 years ago. So a lot more people are visiting the planetarium for whatever reason.
Do you ever get a chance to go and see shows?
It depends on what you mean by that. The answer is that when they want to buy a new show, generally we're able to get, if not the whole show as a demonstration, a substantial piece of it. So it's probably not necessary, and I pretty much defer to them. But the answer is, I like to see them before I write the checks. So they do their best to sort of accommodate me, and it was just like for game night, they did their best to accommodate me before game night, so I could actually get an idea of what they're doing. So that's the answer. But could I go whatever I wanted? As far as I know, if I warned them in advance, because the staff generally don't do the weekend shows, the students do them. So the staff would either have to give me a pass, which I actually have I have a handful of them in my office, so I guess I could go whenever I want, even if they don't tell the students I might come over. But I don't really want to, I also feel like I don't want somebody to feel like there's pressure on them to perform just because I'm coming there. So that's why on game night I said, is it okay? I'd like to come over ahead of time. They said, fine. But I didn't like to just show up. And they're going, oh, why are you here? What did I do wrong? So I wouldn't do that to them. I wouldn't do it even if they did anything wrong. I'd talk to Shannon anyway. So I try to see every show is the answer. Have I seen every show they actually have right now? I'd have to ask Shannon, who I think knows. She could tell me if I've seen every one. But I do certainly try to see them when we get new ones or we're in the process of buying them. Just so I feel like, okay, I've done something. I haven't seen anything which Shannon and the staff are much more critical of shows than I am, because they're much more attuned to the educational value, or the combination of educational plus entertainment if we're using them for a public show. So I really am confident in their judgment. And so if they really want to show, even if I really didn't like it, I'd let them buy it. And I wouldn't make them buy one that I liked and they didn't. I wouldn't do that. But would I like to see every show? Yes. Do I try to see every show at least once at some point? The answer is yes. I think it's part of my responsibility, I guess, is the answer. And they're short. Most of the shows are 25 to 35 minutes. So if I don't do the Star Talk afterwards, it's not a big time commitment, frankly. But anytime the dome's not in use, they can show a show for me. And I haven't made them do that. They should do other things, is my point. They have enough other work to do, they should do that. Although they can turn it on and leave me there, but I haven't done that. So what I have done is I've given out passes to people, and mostly people I know that have kids, so I've given them passes to encourage them to go, which, a little bit helps promote the planetarium. And if they like it, their kids will tell 10 kids in school. So, I view that as a good way to try to, promote the planetarium. So I don't give out very many. But the answer to your basic question is yes. I like to think that I've seen most of the shows they're showing at one time or another.
Do you have any favorites?
No. They sort of go in and out and say, okay, yeah. I did like the Darwin one, even though that's not much star. It was relatively well done, and I thought fairly informative. It's one of the longer shows, actually. So I did like the Darwin, the one we're showing on Darwin. And some of the others are very cute. They have some basic animated ones. They have one that's like, I can't remember the name of the movie or TV show. They have one where the people are miniaturized and put in a human body, and they had a movie that way, and I can't remember what it was. There was a movie, so it's a takeoff on that movie. That one was pretty cute. It was fun. But that's the kind of thing, is it's not so much astronomy as it tells you, it explores the body. Okay, and so that's an example of something which we can do, but it's not per se astronomy. But they have a dozen or so now, so it's hard for me to remember all of them when I typically only see them once. Now when they're doing their shows, I think they probably got them all down pretty pat. But they switch off on what they do depending on their interest. So, Shannon has shows she likes to do, and then do the Star Talk with, and the same for John and Shane. So they each have sort of a group of shows which are their, forte. But I think they're all pretty familiar with all the shows. We just bought one too. It's about weather. And it's about Earth weather and planetary weather. So there's astronomy in there. Well, there's planetary science, I guess is the answer. So because I just asked her what that meant, and she said, well, that talks about like weather on Jupiter, and even what they're calling, I guess, weather on the sun with sunspots and huge ejectas. So we just bought that one. I haven't seen that one yet. Most of these, apparently, Shannon has seen at one point or another from her previous work or wherever she visited planetariums. And there are national and international conferences, and the vendors generally display stuff. So when they go, and I generally have had them go, when they go to both the international and the regional and national conferences, they will get to see some of these shows that are available. Okay, and now we just finished one of our own. We have a faculty member who did one on dark matter, and that opens nationally and internationally in another couple of weeks. I think we did a preview here for the department. I think he said they've got 76 planetariums are going to show it, both nationally and internationally. So that was created by one of our faculty members, and with a lot of support from various people. But it was basically University of Texas. But we did a lot of the rendering work here. But they used talent from all over the world, basically, for various things. I think the animators, for example, were in Spain, but they got a woman, Tilda Swinton is doing the narration, and they had professional writers and music composers too. So it's a big deal. And I saw it. I went to that one. We invited the whole department. It's very impressive. It has gorgeous graphics. So, if you want, have them show you that one. But it opens in a couple of weeks. So that's the kind of thing we've been involved in. And all we had to provide, for the most part, was planetarium time. All the funding was done otherwise. But we're happy to do that. We're going to get to show it. So that's one of the kinds of things, without having the all-adult video, we wouldn't have participated in before.
And this is actually my last question of the day. It's also the most open-ended one, of course. What does the planetarium mean to you?